Guitar Lick Week is back. Join me today for 5 fun funk licks and a mini fun funk rhythm guitar lesson. So stay tuned. Hello, welcome friends to episode 162 of the Play Guitar Podcast. I'm Lee, and this is the podcast that's determined to make you a better guitar player. No matter if you're just starting out, you've been playing for years, this is the show that will help you become the guitarist you always wanted to be. If you're new here, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast and check out the description for all of the links from the show. Hey, everybody. How you doing today? Out of breath. I just ran into the room trying to get here on time because we're going live today. Let's check out the comments before we start going. Dean's here. Hey, Dean. How you doing? Excuse me. Jim's here all the way from the other side. How you doing, Jim? Let's see here. David's here. Evan's here. Oh, let's see here. Where was Evan? There he is. Gloria's here. Mark's here. Hey, Mark. Thank you so much, Mark. Okay, so last month, the first week of the month, we started off with Lick Week. It was a lot of fun and got a lot of good feedback on that. So I think we're on the right path here. Let's see. I'm going to be taking you through 5 funk licks. Now, we're going to do kind of a rhythm guitar lesson as we go along with this. It's going to be kind of fun. I've been working on it this afternoon. Turned out great. And here's what we're going to do. We have a basic rhythm using 9ths and 13ths. We also have that same basic rhythm, but we're going to add some single notes to it. Then for number 3, we're going to add the bass line to the basic rhythm. And on number 4, we're going to do a classic 13th chord slide, which is a lot of fun. And then the last one is going to be different. We're going to change it up on the last one. We're going to do a minor funk. And we're going to go around something that I've talked about before. I really love the minor 11th chord. And I use it a lot with funk licks in a minor kind of setting too. So those are all of our basic funk licks that we're going to go through today. They're up as we speak right now in the Get Your Blues Solos Under Control. In fact, I'm going to get that loaded up for me right here. Here we are. So I've got an image of the tab, but you can also download the tab. There's a PDF file right there. And I have, let's see, I have 3 different tempos of a D7 funk and then 3 different tempos of the D minor 7th funk too. So we're going to be going through all of those today. Let's talk about number 1. Let's see if I can I'm going to bring in the, here we go. Let's get this going. Excuse me while I'm adjusting things. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Here's our basic rhythm using 9ths and 13ths. Does the guitar sound loud enough? I think so. Okay, so basic rhythm with 9ths and 13ths. We're basically talking about the James Brown chord. It's a dominant chord. It's like a D7 chord, but we're adding one note. We're adding the 9. If you take a look up here, and I'll talk it through for people on the audio podcast. If you put your second finger on the 5th fret of the A string, your first finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and then take your 3rd finger and bar it across the rest of the strings, the G string, B string, and high E string. That's your 9th chord. This is a D9. It's heard in a lot of funk guitar. Who got the funk, Kevin? Right? Here we go. That's right. Not Kevin. He's got it together today, right? So the first lick that we go through is a dotted 8th note to a 16th note. Okay? That's the first part of the first measure. But then we're going to go to the top 3 strings, which is on the 5th fret, and we're going to add the 7th fret to the highest E string. And then we're going to let go of that 7th and just have the bar from the top 3 strings on the 5th fret. So putting those together, we have the 9th chord. That's our basic rhythm with the 9th, and then going up to this note right here, the B note, which is the 7th fret on the high E string. That's our 13th of the D chord. So I'm going to go ahead and play the background track here. There, I know that disappeared just for a second. Let's do it kind of slower. Let's do it at 80 first. Okay, so playing in the pocket, right? Not adding a lot to it, which we will in a minute. Ready, go. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. All right. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this basic funk staple that's in tons and tons of songs, and we're going to start to do some things to it. We're going to start to add a little bit here. So let's go back to our tab here, and let's go down to number 2. And this says adding single notes to the basic rhythm. If you look at the first measure, it's the same. But where we would rest right here, we're finding places where we can throw in some new things. And what we're going to do is take a look here at the second measure of our second line. And after we play, we go back to our D7th chord, D9th chord. We're going to play that 13th, the 7th fret on the high E string, to a minor 3rd in the key of D, and then D, the flat 7 of D, which is a C, and then the 5th, right? So together that looks like this. And I'm plucking that high note too to give it a little bit extra effect. Now if we keep going, we take a look down the line here, it starts to repeat again. But on the very end, on the 4th bar here, we have a double stop. So we're going up high to a double stop. So let's take a look at what that is. We're at 10th fret, right there in the kind of D bar chord area, right? And then we're going to slide up from 12 to 14th with a double stop, 14, 14 on both the high E string and the G string. Okay, so if we put them all together, I'm going to go ahead and let's do this a little bit faster this time. Let's go to 90. One, two, ready, go. Okay, let me go ahead and turn that off here. So that's adding some single lines to our basic rhythm. You notice I was also adding some percussiveness in there in between chords to try and keep the beat going, adding a little bit extra in there. So, but now let's head back to the tab page, line 3, adding a bass line to this basic rhythm. So we're on the to start to add a bass line to the beginning. Instead of just strumming the chord full out, we're going to split it up. We're going to play the root note, slide in with the root note, and then on where we would play the 16th note, we'll do our strum. So we have a D note slid up to the, and then play the D9 chord. Then we have an open A, which is the 5th, and then our second part of our common, which is the bar at the 5th fret with the 7th fret on the high string. And then back to the D9 chord. So we're having that open string. Okay, adding some bass notes in there. Then in the space where we were playing lead before, we're going to start to add a little bass line there. That's 5-3 on the D string, and then 5-3 on the A string, and then 2-5 on the low string. So we have so on the end there, I use another little bass line that starts on the low E string at the 5th fret to the 3rd fret of the A string, back to the low E string at the 5th fret, and then on the A string 3 to 5. So it's those 3 notes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the background track again. I'm going to go back to the slow one for this one. A little bit more going on here. Now notice I wasn't playing the exact bass line. I was playing kind of a call and response with that. But you can. There are a lot of situations where you can actually mirror what the bass player is playing along that and get your chords in there as well. So there is our 3rd lick. We've taken our basic rhythm, 9th and 13th, so using the D9 chord. Second, we added single notes to that. Now we just added the bass line to this basic rhythm. Let's keep going, okay? So we're going to see another common rhythm figure that you see in funk a lot, and that's the 13th slide. Okay, so this is going to be in a different part of the guitar. Here we go. So this is something that you've heard a lot before. If you've ever played Stormy Monday, this is part of that as well. Part of that sound. And basically what we're doing is we're taking up at the 10th fret where you would play a bar chord, a D bar chord, right? And we're going to start and use the upside down triangle shape. That's the one that you'd see from playing an open position D7, right? But we're going to do that on the D, G, and B strings, where your first finger's at the 9th fret on the G string, second finger's at the 10th fret on the D, and then tuck underneath your third finger on the B string at the 10th fret. And what that does is it gives us the flat 7th note in D, it gives us the 9th, the E, and then it gives us the 5th, A. So we get some of the notes of the chord, but when we slide that same pattern up 2 frets, now we've got our root, D, right? We've got our 3rd, and the 13th, we've got our B. So we're sliding into the 13th and back. It's very common to hear this in a lot of blues, funk, a lot of stuff like that. So what we're going to do, we are going to play that and then have a little line. Play that and then have another line. Play that, rest for or let it ring for the 3rd measure, and then have a lead for our 4th measure, which is just a minor pentatonic lead. So even though these are 7th chords, have a major 3rd in it, just like blues, you can use your minor pentatonic scale. So let's go ahead here and get that going. Let's do something in the middle. Let's do 90 beats per minute. You have all of these different tempos in the course that you can download as well. All right, I'm gonna get this set up here. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. All right. Okay, so I want to go, I want to go over those licks in between the rhythm figure there. So we have, on the first measure, we'll play our 13th slide. And then we have 10 to 12. It's almost a major pentatonic lick with a minor 3rd to major 3rd. So it's 10, 12 on the B, 10 to 11 on the G, and then the root 12 on the D string. Then we play it again. Now we're going, this is like a Johnny B. Good lick. Minor 3rd to major 3rd, 10, 12 on the B, and then 10 on the high E string. On the 3rd measure, we let it ring, let it ride for the whole measure, and then here's our minor pentatonic. 13th full, 13-10, 13-10 on B, 12-10 on G. Then we're going to slide up to 14th with our 3rd finger, hit the 13th as a double stop on the B string, slide back to 12, to 10, and then 12 on the D string. Okay? Fun. I like that one. I like that one a lot. So all of these were over a regular D7th chord. In funk, you're going to have a lot of songs where it's one chord for a long time, usually a 7th chord, but not all the time. We've got some cool stuff here that we're going to be doing with a minor funk. So let me play you a little bit of the background track. This is at, let's do it, here's at 100. We'll just do the faster one. Okay, so we've got our background track. Not much different than the major because the bass player's not playing a lot of thirds in there. So let's see here. We're going to start off with an octave. Let me get a closer look here. So our octave is at the 13th fret on the B string and 10th fret on the D string. It's a C note. And then once we hit that, we hit our bar D minor 7 at the 10th fret on the 10th fret of G string, B string, and E string. Ready, go. Okay? And it's the same rhythm. It's a dotted 8th note to a 16th note. 1, 2, ready, go. Now on beat 3, we're going to go to a D minor 11th chord. I'm not going to hit the root though. I'm just going to hit the 10th fret on the D and G string with the 8th fret on the B string. And the rhythm for that is 1, 2, 1, 2. So if I put those together, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay? Now to make it a little interesting on this minor 11th chord, I'm going to take the C note that's on the 10th fret of the D string and lower it 1 the second time I play it. Gives it a G7 type sound. So it sounds almost like there's a chord progression going, even though the bass line stays the same. Here we go. Again. Here it is. Hear the chord change. And it's just a minor pentatonic run at the end there. So we're taking some of the same ideas, the same rhythms. We've changed the chords. Let's get this. There we go. So we just changed some of the chords underneath. We're using the same rhythms and some of the same ideas. We did add the octave into this one and the minor 11th chord, but we used minor pentatonic at the end too. So some of the same ideas, but a little bit different. And there they are. There's the 5 licks. We're going to go over to the chat and see how the chat's doing in a minute. But I just want to make sure that you know about how to get these licks. And that is going to freeblueslesson.com. At freeblueslessons.com, you can sign up for my course. It's my 6 steps to getting your blues solos under control. And when you sign up for that, there's another section in there, which is our licks. And the first week of each month, we have our guitar lick week, which you're listening to today, and they're all in there. So you can go back and visit all of the previous episodes. This one, I have all the background tracks that I used today, plus a few extra ones, and the download for the basic funk guitar licks. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end the audio podcast right now. But I'm going to hang out online with the folks that are here, just to hang out, see what's going on. Okay. So, let's see here. Shut this down. Okay. So, let's see here. So there we go. That's our basic rhythm, 9th and 13th chords, adding single notes to basic rhythms, adding bass lines to your basic rhythms. And let's see, then we had 13th slide, which was fun, and then the minor funk with minor 11th chord. And hope you enjoyed that today. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Make sure to hit the button below to subscribe to the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my content as soon as it comes out. For more lessons, episodes, and ways to get involved with the Play Guitar community, visit playguitaracademy.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next episode. Okay, so audio podcast over. We're going to hang out a little bit here. This was one of those. This was one of those. Getting all of this together and getting it going by 5. Man, this was a challenge. But it's good to see some friendly faces in there. I'm going to back up and go through the chat here. And we're going to hang out. We're going to talk some funk guitar a little bit. What I wanted to do with this was I wanted to, for people who haven't done any funk guitar playing, who would like to try it out, to have a few simple things, but show you how it's so easy to add on and a whole lot of interest to that too. So I hope that helped. It was fun. I got this together this afternoon. I had fun doing it. Got pressed for time here at the end, but it is what it is, right? So let's see here. Great to see everybody. Like I said before, Mark and Gloria, it's good to see you. Chris was here. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? Coke said he was here eating pizza. Okay, sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to keep warm. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Hal says, what's up? Not on StreamYard yet. Looking forward to another great podcast. Awesome. Glad you're here, man. Thanks. Coke and pizza. That's what I was thinking too. Evan says, did we all like the video? Please, everybody. We got 12 folks left with us right here. Hit that like. Come on, man. It's not that much to do. I forget all of the time. In fact, I forget to ask people to hit the like too. So let's see here. Kevin says, who's got the funk? And Coke says, funk guitar is so fun. Yeah, man. It's like, there's not a whole lot of thinking to it once you get basically what you're going to play down. And there's a lot of room. There's a lot of space in funk guitar, unless you're, doing wah-wah and putting a whole bunch of stuff in there, but there's time to think. There's time to add some cool stuff in there. Let's see here. Dean says, hey, Dean. Dean says, been listening to Corey Wong lately with the Minneapolis funk Prince sound. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the whole Minneapolis funk sounds here. Let's see here. And Coke says he definitely influenced my funkiness, but I don't know if I have my funk soul bag yet. Digging it. Cool. Lee Anderson and the PGP Funkadelic. Love this one. Yeah, I love playing funk music. I can play it for hours. Steve's here. Says, Lee, I love it. Good to see you. Good to see you, Steve. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope everything's all right. Keep them warm. Let's see here. Glad to be with the guitar folk today, right? With the guitar folk today. That's right. It's good to see you, Evan. We're really happy you're here. I'm glad you're here. So Coke says, yeah, totally trying out all of this. It's all there for you, man. It's all uploaded. I got it done in time. Honestly, I was at 5 o'clock. I was running down the steps from getting everything together and running into the room, and bam, hit it. So I can breathe. All right. Coke says same. Gloria says yes. David's here. David says, got to get to the point where I can play stuff like this and just jam. Well, I'll tell you, get this PDF and work on the first line, David. Don't worry about 2 through 5. Just number 1. And at first, you're going to be tempted to want to be able to play all the rhythms and do all that kind of stuff. But don't worry about that at first. At first, just try to get these chord shapes and some of the other shapes under your fingers first. So this would be, let's see here. Here's the chord that I was telling you about before, the James Brown chord. The trick is not hitting the low string. We're not using that. And barring this third finger. Notice how I'm kind of almost double jointing it there. Some people play it like this and wrap their thumb around too. For me, I was always thumb on the back of the neck for this. But if you have a hard time getting all three of those down, wrap your thumb around the back of the neck. Then the other part is just a bar at the 5th fret and then your pinky. And then to resolve it, let the pinky go. So if you can get those things down, you're on the way. Once you get those down, then we're start to get that rhythm. And you just hit, it's ba 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 ba. And you can just practice it like this. You don't even have to fret any chords. So that's where I would start with this. If you haven't played funk before, and if you're thinking, maybe I can't do it. It's a lot easier than you think it is. It's the rhythms that are hard, placing it nice. So, Evan says, you're on the way, David. That's right. Kevin says, funk guitars typically use a lot of compression in their sound. Some do, some don't. Some, you hear some that just straight Fender sound. Some, what's that? Nile Rodgers goes direct, doesn't even use an amp, and he uses a lot of compression on that because amplifiers add compression naturally. So he's going into the mixer straight from his guitar, actually through, I think he used a Countryman DI, which is just a way to plug straight in, and they did a lot of stuff to his sound, which is a lot of compression. But sometimes when you do a lot of this and we have too much compression, it can kind of sound splatty. So some do. I've heard both. I've heard some do and some don't. Coach says, honestly, just counting everything has been a ton of help for funk, which has helped everything. Yeah, that's right. Everything else. That's right. Nevin says, this was fun. Extensions are always useful too. Yeah. Or an always useful tool. Basically, this sound of the D9 chord, and then taking your pinky and putting it up on that to get the 13th sound right there. Those two sounds are the majority of the sounds of extensions that I use. Ninths, 13ths, just in different areas. I do use the 11th today in the minor 11th because that's just a chord that I like a lot. But it's not. There's not a whole ton of theory to get into it. It's these are sounds that you've heard, and these are sounds that are easily accessible. So there it is, basic funk guitar licks. When you guys listened, what's your favorite funk? P-Funk, Parliament? What do you listen to? I've played a lot of different funk. It was when I was playing, before I moved to Georgia, when I was up north playing in cover bands. It was a very odd scene. It was... the first half of the night was like hair metal, like Van Halen, and then it got into actually when Nirvana and Alice in Chains kind of came in. So I was playing that in that time. So we would play the first hour and a half to 2 hours. We're playing, that kind of stuff. And then as everybody was drinking, everything started to change, and all of a sudden we would do funk music and like soul and dance music, so it was so different, but it was a great learning experience to be able to switch gears to a totally different style of music you're going for you're playing heavy and shredding for 2 hours, and then all of a sudden you're playing dance music, So it was I played a lot of it, a lot of different stuff. Let's see here. Chris says, can't speak much, love funk, sliding those chords in. Cool, man. Here he is. 1E and a 2E. Yes. Evan with the meters, the funky meters. Right. I think Dino, couple of students are working on Sissy Strut right now, which is an awesome jam song, instrumental song. So let's see here. Chris says, and rhythm and timing is so important. Yep, where it's placed too. And in fact, if you look at this sheet, right, everything's written cut and dry, dotted 8th note, 16th note, here we have 2 16ths in the 8th, 2 16ths in the 8th, but it's not exactly that. Once you start kind of fitting these things right where they fit in the pocket of the song, so there's a little more swing to it. So it's neat stuff. Let's see here. Let's go back. Dino's here. Just made it. Hey, Dino. How you doing, man? Shoveling any snow today? Looked like there was a bunch of that going on. Claire says, hi, Dino. Kevin's funk taste. Yes, that's right. So Evan says, my band I was in back in school did a lot of genre hopping. So we did that back and forth kind of thing a lot too. Yeah, it's challenging. And to come off, to really be able to change gears on a dime is a good skill to have. Let's see here. Kevin says, classic Sly and the Family Stone. That's the good stuff, man. I never really listened to funk. Endless Rob Zombie qualifies as funk. No, it doesn't qualify. So let's see here. Hey, Dino, and oh no, way too much snow. Yeah, I know. It's like the past 3 days I keep tuning in, and it just doesn't seem to stop. I think it's supposed to stop today. I hope it has stopped. By this afternoon, maybe, but who knows? It could be coming right back again. Okay, guys, and girls, let's any questions you guys have? Tell me how things are going with your guitar. Have you been noticing any breakthroughs, any problems? I'm here for a little bit longer. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. I'm going to go through back here and ask some questions of my own. Let's see here. So we talked to David a little bit already. Evan's had a really, let's see here. Where's Evan? Okay. So Evan, if you guys saw in the Facebook group, Evan had a cool experience this week sitting in with the jazz band, and it's kind of, a neat thing. Got to play a couple songs with him and everything like that. And I thought that was really, really cool. Really, really cool. So, very happy for you. Got exposed to something that can be fun. Not all jazz is elevator music at all. And there's some that's really cool and really interesting to play too. And a lot of it is the elevator music type stuff too. So, let's see here. But congratulations on that, man. So let's see. Chris says we have snow. Goodness gracious. It's hitting everybody. I know, let's see, Jim was here earlier, right? There's Jim. I know there's no snow where Jim is right now. He's completely flipped on that. David says, let's root for the Bucks this weekend. Go Bucks. Yeah, I'm going to try and figure out how I can get that. How I can watch that game there. Kelly says, have you checked out Richie Kotzen? Yeah. I have a lot. He's a great player. In fact, I did a lot of the stuff with the Tech 21 pedal, the fly rig, and he's got his own fly rig there. And so when I was researching that's when I really listened to a lot of his stuff, because I saw his pedal and I watched a demo of his, and I knew the name, and I didn't know a whole lot about him, but so I did a little bit of research on him. He's a fantastic player. Yeah, cool stuff, man. Let's see here. Evan says, playing a lot, been very thoughtful past couple days. Says, I'm kind of all ate up with it right now. That's good. That's good. And no snow in NOLA. That's right, man. No snow there. It's cold, though. I'm kind of almost at the same, where I am right now. It was cold today. It wasn't, didn't move all the way down here for this cold stuff. Evan says, feels nice to have that Autumn Leaves under my belt a bit. Yeah, that's a fun song, too. That's a fun song, too. So, okay. So, let's see here. Jim's got a question. I'm going to come back to your question in just a second. Jim Morris. So, let's see here. Jim's got, we have heat. That's right. That's right. Let's see here. Mark says, I got a bass just to play slap bass funk music. It's fun, man. It's fun to play. I play bass a lot. Play a lot of bass. And I enjoy playing bass, though I tear my hands up a good bit. So sometimes I have to back off a little bit there. I need new strings on that one. I'm looking right at it. Needs a couple strings there. Dean's up there. It's snowing hard. Already shoveled twice today. Wow, man. That's no fun. That's no fun at all. And Coke says, there's so much snow outside, and my tomato cages in the garden are gone. Can't see them. Oh, goodness gracious. I hated shoveling snow, but I used to love driving in snow. That was always fun for me. I like the adventure of it. Coke said it's piled. Yeah, that's right. Wisconsin temp and Sunday is supposed to feel like -45. Goodness gracious. No, thank you. No, thank you. So David says we need a gear day soon. Looking for a new guitar with a hardtail. So you've had it with the Floyd Rose. I've been there, man. I know what you mean. Goodness gracious. They can be tough, and changing strings are tough, but they're fun. They sound good, but you're looking for a guitar with a hardtail. So what kind of guitar are you looking for? Are you looking to stay with more of like a metal guitar, or are you looking to get something more like a classic thing, David? And Coke says, Who Boy is going to be a doozy. Yeah, -40. I had to revisit this to make sure I was seeing that. That's no joke, man. That is no joke right there. Everybody be safe and warm this week. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to wait for a minute to see if David can tell me what he's looking for a little bit. A gear day. I enjoyed that. Did you guys like that gear show where we kind of went shopping online and looking for different things? I had fun doing that. That's something I kind of do just on my own when I want to have an idea. I need something. Right now, I've been buying like camera equipment and those kind of things and stuff for live streaming. I'm going to do a lot more live streaming and not just here. I'm going to be in different places. So I got to get a phone with unlimited data so I can do that. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. Cook says my car's a freaking blast in the snow. 220 with a turbo. Oh yeah, man, that's fun stuff. We lived the house that I spent most of my childhood in. We moved around a little bit. We had one house we stayed in for a long time, and it was there was our front yard, but there's a hill that goes down it, and it was just people, they just don't respect the ice and the snow. You can just sit there. You can sit there all day watching people just hitting the brakes and just going straight down the hill. Man, it's fun. It was fun. Let's see here. Dave says I did just successfully change strings. That's good. That's good, man. You do it a few times, you start to get the hang of that with the Floyd Bros. It's a little tough, man. Coke says I've been neglecting guitar for banjo. Well, maybe today, with all this cool funk stuff that we're doing, maybe you'll give the guitar a second look today. Um, okay, so David's back. He says maybe a more versatile guitar, not just hard rock. Yeah. Yeah, and you can go a lot of different ways with that. Hardtail, I always think of Telecaster, right? But you got some Strat hardtail stuff too. Evan's going to say, get an ES, get a hollow body, right? That's some cool stuff. Evan's thinking about some small, clean amps lately. Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. I've got the amp that I have in here that needs to be cleaned out before it's got clicks and pops and scratch. I need some either tubes or just needs to be cleaned out before I start using it on here. Is more of a kind of a Marshall Vox type sound. So I've been thinking about like a Fender Princeton reverb, something like that for in here to put pedals in, because we're going to be doing a lot of pedal stuff. I'm going to set up a camera, and right here on the rest of the desk, I'm going to have all the pedals set up, and I may get one of the webcams I have here like mounted so it's looking straight down on them, and we're going to try different pedals, but in different situations. I think that's the biggest thing that gets people, and people waste money on pedals, is when you're looking on YouTube and you see all these awesome sounding pedal demos all into one amp, and it may be a different kind of amp than you have, and a lot of people buy a pedal expecting it to sound like that, and the truth is all these pedals sound different depending on the amp that they're going into and the guitar that's going into them too. There's a lot of variables in it that aren't usually taken into account, and then you end up with selling pedals or collecting them. I have a collection of pedals right here, but these are the ones I kept. I sold a lot of different pedals, and actually these aren't even the ones I have on my board. My board's right down here with a whole other set of those. But so let's see here. Coke says I need a cleaner amp myself. And Kevin's getting new pedals tomorrow. Cool. What are you getting, Kevin? I want to know. I want to know that stuff, man. So Evan's thinking about a Fender. Coke was going to look into the Spark and see if that get a funky sound. Yeah. Yeah, the Spark and the Katana, if you don't want to fool around with tubes, and heat too, that's another thing too. In this room, it gets hot. I've got two lights behind me and then two monitors right here. It gets hot in this room with the door closed. And then with an amp on, it really heats the room up too. So that's one thing I was thinking, is maybe like some sort of a solid state amp, something like one of those two would work pretty good. But I'm still using this board. I don't like it, but it works. Kelly Rogers says Blues Junior tastes. I had a Blues Junior for a while too, and they take pedals very nicely too. Evan says I just changed tube in my Micro Terror to clean it up a little bit. And then Coke says plus it's an interface. Yeah, that's the other kind of part in there too. Let's see here. Okay, so here's Kevin. Kevin ordered a Nux Horseman Klon, and then a Moore, an Electric Mistress clone. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. It's the golden age of pedal clones. That's that's right. But there's some pedals that came out. These things kind of go in waves, and I was actually going through mine. I'm going to play some of these old ones. The Barber Direct Drive was one I used to use all the time. You don't even hear about it anymore, which is a Dumble style pedal, which is really, really nice. And I have been, you guys know, I've been going through the Boss stuff too. So, so Evan said, thought about a Katana as well. Does that also interface? I think it does. Chris said he got a Black Star, the IB Core 40 cheap secondhand. Yeah, there's some really good Black Stars. I had a student once who had, forget the name of it. It was like a cleaner type amp, almost like a Fender type amp. Really, Really good stuff. And Evan asks, how's the cleans on that, Chris? Okay, so I wanted to go back here, and there was a question earlier I wanted to get into about swing eighths. It's going to take me just a second. Where did it go? Where did it go? Here we go. Can you explain what swing eighths are? Or swing sixteenths are? When you swing anything, it's a laid back kind of thing. So if you see it written, see something written as 2/8 notes or 4/16 notes, okay? And that's the way you can classify them. Let's do eighth notes because it's easier than 16th notes. So eighth notes, you'll have something written. Let me see if there's any eighth notes on this page that I have up. Okay, so right here, 2/8 notes in a row. Okay, and they're 1 and 2 and they're right on the beat, right? So when you start to get lazy with those 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, as you start to get lazier with those and back them off a little bit, you start to go towards sounding like triplets. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, like a shuffle. Okay, so over time, people that are playing who aren't thinking about what's playing on the page, they start to play with feel, right? So play these eighth notes with feel, and you're getting kind of up. You're kind of playing a little bit behind the beat, getting kind of lazy. And you go all the way to, you can go anywhere between playing them straight to over to where they sound like they're triplets. 1 2 3 1 2 3. So if this is your beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So it sounds 1, and it sounds almost like a triplet. And you see it written different ways. You'll see it written like this here with a dotted quarter note to dotted eighth note to a 16th. You'll see that sometimes, or you'll see it written swing right there too. If you've ever played with a drum machine or a drum machine or a loop, a loop software package, right? Plug-in, they'll have a dial called swing, and you can kind of have them play behind the beat, and you can adjust how much you want to do. So saying something's played with swing, it's not a definite way of playing something. There's a lot of variables in that. You can really swing to get to almost like triplet stuff. It's basically kind of being lazy with the beat, and it works for 16th notes, eighth notes, being lazier with the beat to the point where it's almost like a shuffle, or it's almost like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. That's basically what it is. And like Prince would use when he would make beats up, and he would use these drum machines like you could get down at the local music store and get fantastic beat rhythms out of them, right? And he would have some notes that would have some sort of a swing to them, or a little bit behind the beat sound, and other ones that are right on. And he knew really the right way to keep the beat moving, but give it kind of a funkier sound too. So I hope that helps with that. It's once you get really confident with your rhythms to the point where you don't have to think about them anymore, then people start getting creative, and that's when people start playing with swing a little bit more. And you hear it in blues, and you hear it in all sorts of different styles of music. Okay, so let's go back up here. All right, so there was a couple questions we had floating in the air. Let's see. So Evan says, I also want something relatively portable if I can get it. Coke says, Blackstar Fly 3 is amazing for a battery power amp. Okay. I'm curious about the volume on that. Here's Kevin. Kevin said, I've come across reviews on YouTube for a budget monoprice amp that's supposed to be like a Blues Junior for $250. Yeah, how much is a used Blues Junior now? It's been a long time since I've played one. And David says Spark's very portable. Okay, so says cleans are good, and he's on a deadline. No problem, man. You take care of what you got to do. We're gonna be closing up here in a few minutes anyway. Let's see here. And Coke says, if I set the gain to 2, volume 10 to get a clean sounds, perfect volume in the bedroom. Cool. That's for the Black Star there. And then let's see here. Evan says, I've seen that. Kevin, that was the monoprice amp that he's talking about. I'm probably leaning solid state for weight purposes since I'm looking for clean anyway. And then let's see, the last thing Coke was talking about, the Black Star, the Fly 3, it gained to 4, and it's almost too loud for me. That's right. About $400 for the Junior. Okay, cool, man. Well, we're coming up on 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and start to shut things down a little bit. Thanks for hanging out with me, and this was fun. Getting a little rushed for my taste, but it was fun getting it together. I'm going to go ahead and take a little break, and then I'll start editing for the podcast later on this evening. I hope you all stay warm if you're in the middle of all that. And I will see you later on this week. What's going on here is if you guys haven't checked the Academy, I've got all of 205 up as of last night. So all the videos for 205. And so, and I have all of 206 and 207 recorded. And that's the last 2 before we open up the Academy. And so all I have to do is edit those, and then we're just going to make it look really nice and easy. I'll have some welcome videos and things like that. So Academy's coming along. It's taking forever, but I can see the finish line now. So that's what I've been doing. And as soon as I can get that Academy up and rolling, we're going straight into doing a bunch of live streaming too. So. Let's see here. Evan says, great to hang out. Some guitar stuff, some immersion, right? Coach says, I'll go check out those downloads. Cool, man. Gloria says, a fun. Bye, everyone. Stay safe. Great to see you, Gloria. Great to see you. David says, have a good week. Kevin says, great podcast and chat time with everyone. Talk to you soon. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Cool stuff. And Evan says, y'all have a great night. And on that, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.